The next topic we are going to cover is that of manual page sections. So let me show you first a slide, again borrowed from the Arlehan textbook that I referenced to from the course website and previous videos. The manual pages that are accessible, the online manual pages that are accessible on the command line of any Linux and Unix system are structured as follows. 8 different sections. The section that we're going to deal with the most in this course is undoubtedly the first section, section number 1, which lists manual pages related to commands. So by commands we mean bash commands, command line commands. Okay. Section 2 of the manual group all the man pages that are related to system calls. So if you take an operating system course, for example, you're going to learn more about system calls. System calls is a way that is used by any programming language and therefore any program you write on the system to ask the operating system kernels to do some work on their behalf. Okay. So all of those system calls that are available in the Linux environment are also documented as man pages, and you can access them here. Library functions, same thing. If you're using any sort of standard library, etc., their features are going to be documented here. Special files, file formats, games, miscellaneous information, and then the last one that we might use occasionally even in this course, even though this is not a system administration course, is system administration, section 8. Okay, so like I said, most likely when you are learning to use a command line interface, you're going to consult the pages that are located in section 1 of the manual or section 8. Okay, and occasionally things on miscellaneous information or special file, stuff like that. All right, so let's go back to the command line and try to illustrate that concretely. So we have, for each of the sections, we have actually a special man page that is called the intro man page, and that tells us about what we're going to find in that section. So if we type man intro, we get actually the introduction to user command. So remember, user commands were actually the first section of the manual system. Okay, so man intro tells us pretty much about the intro page for the first section of the manual, and you can find some instructions, information here, etc. And you can find at the end of this man page, but it's also true for almost every man page. Okay, the see also section is going to very often list a bunch of other commands that are related to this man page you are reading right now. And between parentheses here, you find the section of the manual in which you can find more information. So for example, ASH, BASH, all of these are shells, okay? CSH, CH, actually that's a command to change your shell. Dash is a shell, KSH is another shell that is an alternative to BASH, bash. So all of those things, you can find information about them in section 1 of the manual. And then sometime you are going to have some mentions to other manual pages that are found in section 2, which is a section on system calls. Okay, so section 2 on system call, std out, section 3, it's about library function, man pages and standard, section 7, this is about miscellaneous information. Okay, so knowing that the manual is broken down into 8 sections is useful also when you read manual page and you see references to specific keyword on which you can call the man utility to get the manual page, but that are located in different sections of the manual. And that can come in handy sometime. But let's talk more about that in a few minutes. For now, let me finish my little spiel about the intro pages, and this is going to leeway to us into that syntax that I want to introduce next. I can get the intro page for the first section of the manual, but I can also get it, by typing man 1 intro. So it's kind of overkill, but it's telling me I want the intro page for section 1 of the manual, and it's the same thing that we're looking at. Okay, exactly the same thing. So by default, if you don't specify anything, you specify man intro and that's it, no section name, number, then you get the first section introduction. But you can specify the number, which means that you can get the intro page for section 2. So now it's telling you, okay, I'm displaying the intro page for section 2 of the manual. This is introduction to system calls, and now I have like completely different information here. Okay, so you can ask for the intro, obviously, of any of the 8 sections that the manual comprises. Okay, so this is the introduction to library function, for example. All right, but what's even more interesting about this is that now we have a nice introduction, no pun intended, to the syntax of the man command that allows us to specify actually a section number. So why would that be even interesting? Why would that be relevant? Well, let's say that we want to learn about the kill command of the bash shell. Okay? So I do man kill, and it tells me the kill command of the bash shell sends a signal to a process. So this is from section 1, so this is a command that I can use in my bash environment on the command line. Perfect. But kill, the word kill, is used also in different meanings on my system, on my Linux system. So that means that there is, for example, in section 2 of the manual, there is a system call named also kill. So it says kill send signal to a process, but this is now the man page for the kill system call. We can tell because it comes from section 2, and you can see that we don't get the same type of information at all. The section 1 of the manual was documenting how the kill command that you can use in your shell works. This is documenting how the kill method that you can call from C programs and C++ programs that are using the standard library. It documents how we can use the kill command of the standard library in our C++ program. It's a system call, okay? So we can have in different sections of the manual pages that have the same name, and we can differentiate between them by specifying when we call man the number of the section we want to look at, okay? So if we had like man3 kill, for example, it would tell us, all right, I looked into section 3, I could not find anything that relates to a command named kill, okay? So that's it, that's the end of it. So section 3 was, let me go back, library function. I could not find a library function entry for that, but I could find a system call entry and a command entry for it. Okay, so that's useful when you want to get something specific that is not the default, section 1 lookup behavior of the man command. Okay, so actually, if you have something that is only present in section 1, no problem. If it's only present in section 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, no problem either. Okay, man and the name is going to lead you directly to that man page. The issue really comes up when you have a same manual page with, a manual page with the same name, for example, kill present in multiple sections. Then by default, the man tool behavior is to look at the section in order and display the first man page that it finds with that name. So that can completely hide away, the fact that there is a kill system call man page. If you just type man kill, well, all you ever get is the man page for kill that is in section 1, which is a command. You never see the system call one if you don't specify it, okay? So that's kind of an annoyance, and that also means that we should have a way to kind of search through the man page a little bit better than what we are doing right now, by just typing man1 kill, man2 kill, man3 kill, and so on and so forth. We need something, a tool, to help us figure out, how many man pages have the name kill, and which one are they, what section of the manual are they in. So there are tools, hopefully, to help us with that, okay? So the two tools we are going to talk about are the whatis command and then the apropos command. So let's start with whatis. Let's say I do whatis ls. So it's going to tell me, okay, this is what I know about ls. ls is found in section 1 of the manual, and I'm using here the little one sentence introduction, okay? So this is taken from the name section of the man page. If I go and look at the ls man page, see the name section here, it has this one sentence that lists the directory content, okay, tells us what ls is supposed to do. Well, that's the same thing that I get here. So what is a way to get an idea of, well, pretty much what is, you know, a certain keyword, like for example, what is ls, what is kill, and then it's going to show me that kill appears in two different sections of the manual, okay? And both of them have the same goals, being allowing you to send a signal to a process, but because I know the structure of the manual, I know that section 1 means that it's a command line utility, section 2 it's a system call. So depending on what I want to look up, for example, if I want to look up the kill system call, then I can specify to man the correct number of section to look up kill into, and I get the information that I was really looking for. Okay, so what is actually a convenience syntax? What it do exactly is call man, but with an option, and that option is -f. Okay, so if I call man-f ls or man-f kill, you can see I'm getting the same information. So what is kind of like a, if you want to call it an alias, informally you may, okay, but it's really kind of like a wrap-up command over a feature that is also available by using a specific option of the man command line utility, okay? But what is works on a pre-processed version of the man page. So there is a need for the what is utility to initialize a sort of lookup table that's going to allow it to find very quickly what you are looking for, okay? So that's, depending on if your system is correctly or incorrectly installed, that might not be available, that might break at some point, etc. So it's worth for you knowing that it's working on this kind of pre-processed information. The second command we're going to talk about is apropos. So the apropos command, it comes from the French apropos, meaning about. The apropos command is there to help you search the name section of the man page that you have, and search through those one-line command description that are introduced in the name section for specific keywords. And it's not even case sensitive. So whereas what is expects you to feed it as the name of a command, okay, like kill, ls, pwd, etc. Apropos allows you to search for general keywords. So I'm looking for information about, I don't know, something like, for example, the manual. I don't know what kind of commands are available to help me work on the manual pages, okay? So I just do apropos manual, why not? And that helps me actually get a list of the different man pages and the section they appear in, okay, that somewhere in their one-line description, you know, that we find in the name section, have the keyword manual, upper or lowercase, specified, okay? So it's not perfect. It's not perfect because, like, for example, here, if we look at, well, in this case, we have like pretty much what we need, okay? But you could actually miss something here simply because the people who wrote the man page for that tool, even though it's a tool that works on the manual page, didn't specify the keyword manual when they describe their tool, okay? It's really it's not a magical search, right? It's just looking at the description here, and it's looking for whether that description contains the keyword that you specified here, yes or no. If it does, then I list it in my results. If it doesn't, then I don't. Last but not least, the same way that we talked about what is being just another way to use one of the feature, one of the option of the man tool, the same is true with apropos. If I type man-k and then I say manual, okay, I'm going to get the same information that if I use apropos manual. Okay, so it's just synonymous. You can use one or the other. What is important is to know that, you know, you can bounce back from one syntax to the other depending on, you know, which one you easily remember or which one is actually used by another programmer and you are looking at their work. So just make sure you remember what you can do, okay, how you can search, what part of the manual page are searched by Apropos, what is, and stuff like that, and the structure of the section of the manual. And if you keep this information in your mind, then you have pretty much everything you need to be about to find almost any information that is available in the manual page on your system. And as we discussed before, by looking at the different section, it's just about anything on your system, including configuration files and stuff like that.